On mute. We're both on mute. Now I'm not.
Okay, it seems we're okay. Now we're both back. Hey everyone, and hey Mark, how's it going?
Going well. It's been a busy week. Bit of a wild ride for the crypto and the traditional markets, but yeah, busy.
I would say busy is the right word, but you know what? We're just here riding the wave as we go along. But glad to have you back here with our next wave of innovators and for the AI Unbundled. Last week's was quite interesting, I would say.
Yeah, it was good fun. I didn't manage my time all that well, so we blew over the time limit. But I think you'll give me a bit of a hand this time, and we'll get through everything at a proper pace.
Yeah, I'm sure for today will definitely be a lot better with the time. And you know what? Leading straight into that, charging through straight with Bart from Polyhedra. So let's get into it, shall we?
Let's do it.
How we doing, Mark?
I'm good. How you doing, Bart?
Not too bad, man. Starting off the day with a chat with you, so not the worst.
That's good. Where are you based? Where's your team based?
Team's mixed between San Francisco, Europe, and China. We've got a lot of the research that comes there. A little bit of a footprint in Singapore with you as well.
Fantastic.
I'm based West Coast though, so 6 a.m.
Love
for
it.
me.
Mate, well, thank you for getting up early and making the time. Really appreciate it. Well, mate, let's kick things off. Maybe if you could give us a little bit of an introduction to Polyhedra and what you guys are up to.
Sure. I think probably what most people would recognize the brand from would be the initial product that we went to market with a number of years ago, which was ZK Bridge. That came from a number of years of research from a couple of the co-founders, and still today is one of the most trustless and permissionless bridges that exists in the space. Where the company has evolved, and obviously the genesis of the relationship with Aethir and the AI Unbundled team, sits around the ZKML research. So it's a concept that was coined by a couple of the founders way back in 2018. And over the course of the next few years, they've now validated. So what we're sitting at and delivering to the market is really that entire infrastructure stack that makes it accessible. Not everyone has a cryptographer on their team, and especially as you're starting off a project, it gets a lot more difficult. So in terms of a quick run through of the product set, we've got ZK PyTorch, which means you can just dump your your PyTorch model directly into ZK PyTorch, compile, and it spits out that cryptographic receipt that says that the mathematics in your GPU has been completed as expected. So that makes it accessible. Whole market can go out, and without the need of a cryptographer, you can actually now validate what's going on. Key next problem that we always face is efficiency and cost, especially when we're looking at compute. And that is where the product really starts to take shape. So Expander, which is another internal product and piece of the infrastructure stack, it operates at a magnitude, depending on how we're measuring, between 2 and 10 times faster than the nearest competitor in the market. And
Nice.
this isn't just Web3. We're talking Web2. Anywhere in the market, we obliterate on speed. And that then translates to cost savings. Stack that in with EXP chain, which is our current testnet layer 1. And with low gas fees, we can then put each of these receipts on chain. And you've obviously got that continual reference point that your AI is working. So I'll pause and what are your thoughts? Where do you want to take that?
Mate, I love it. I mean, your team has, such a strong reputation for being incredibly technical, research driven. You've come to market with a number of innovations over the last years that I think have been, pretty powerful statements and flags to kind of plant as a group. I mean, how does this technology you've built, how does that kind of work maybe for a startup, right? Someone that's coming into the AI Unbundled, right? That's looking to just start touching the ZK ecosystem and maybe what you guys have built. What does that look like maybe for them?
In terms of if we're going through the use case as to what it would look like for the startup, why they would come through, it's if they're looking at hitting something with a compliance or authentication sort of approach. So if you're building, obviously, the risks around AI are limitless. If we're looking at that responsible AI thesis that we're starting to move towards as a founder, the idea is that we start to approach things in a much more mature fashion as we start to measure the risks, and also as we start going to consumers and enterprise. There's no way that a startup or a founder is going to get past that compliance component of onboarding into a Fortune 500 or anyone else who's got any risks around their customer data if they can't show that there is a safety measure that's taken. So on our end, that's really where we're looking at with founders, and then providing that stack of products and having the research team and the hand holding that's necessary with some white glove service where we've got products to help them through that. And then on the other end, obviously the partnership with you and your team, that really helps us go to market with some savings on GPU, because it's pretty scary as you start to face a research project. You've got two options. One is you start chasing every VC, raise stupid amounts of money without even having a clear product direction. So the idea is coming to both Aethir and Polyhedra, you can have a bit of a chat. We can go through a bit of documentation, and with non-dilutive grants, we can help you actually get an avenue on that proof of concept with some compliant points, and then on your end, allow for the compute to take place as well.
100%. I think the grant program that we have is really there to unlock builders, right? Give them access to the things that I think are traditionally big blockers or bottlenecks for projects looking to grow and to scale. I mean, what are you guys looking for? I think when you're kind of putting the grant out there, what type of projects would you like to see come and talk to you?
It's broad. I'd say on our end, look, we're sector agnostic in terms of the use case really does sit of, are you trying to solve a real problem? So it's probably more the individual. It's really broad. Look, the use case I always go down is what hooked me with Polyhedra was thinking about that iRobot example, in the sense that I want to know if my robot is misbehaving. That was kind of my first point when I was chatting to the founders and thinking about coming internal for a bit. And this is not a foreign example. Like I don't know if you've seen, but in Amazon there was a warehouse where a robot misbehaved a number of years ago. 25 people were hospitalized as a result. So it's not theoretical. And that's where, when we're looking at startups, like even if we go to financial services trading, like flash crashes cause billions of dollars of losses in the financial markets. Now, it doesn't matter if you're not a leveraged trader, but if you are and you've had your fortune wiped out because of a flash crash, bot crash, you're going to be pretty annoyed. And so for me, when we're looking at it, that then extends to healthcare, robots, AI doing heart surgery. I want to know that in terms of if any product is being built, it's compliant, it's authenticated, it's fingerprinted, whatever we want to call that, to make sure that I know that there is no leakage and that the model is working as described. So yeah, cross vertical with the real founders that we're looking at are those that want to actually take a responsible approach to AI.
I think it's increasingly important. As you mentioned, there were examples happening kind of years ago, and there are examples happening every month, right? Yeah. I think the most recent one that got kind of a lot of public attention was the latest Claude release, right? Which was effectively blackmailing researchers when it kind of had some moral quandary with the output of the work that it was being asked to do. Even the O3 model tried to blackmail its researchers so it wouldn't be shut down. I mean, there's a lot of funny business that happens. I think people conceptualize it really well when you talk in terms of robots, right? Because they kind of have this Terminator mindset of what goes wrong when robots go bad. But it starts with AI, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And I think building with the tools that Polyhedra has is kind of a massive leg up for projects that have the right intentions building in the AI space.
Definitely agreed. And obviously, the end game for all of us with a product and as a builder is to get it to market. And obviously liability insurance could get pretty scary with these things. So providing that stack and being able to at least get boots on the ground to start a product, have a battle tested product there that we can provide you. And I think, look, the last thing that we do want to do, especially for the Web3 aspect of the community, rather than continually going down that enterprise route, is provide access to some of those tools that are a little bit more foreign to the Web3 builders. So on that side, we've put together a marketplace that includes products such as Pika, DeepGram, like products that actually, generally you're going to have an enterprise service agreement with. It's a little bit harder to onboard, and giving you access to some of those products that are more prevalent within the Web2 world. So bringing all of those points together hopefully creates more of an ecosystem approach, and on your end, obviously complemented with some very gracious grants as well.
Love it. Mate, always a pleasure to catch up. Great to hear more about Polyhedra, and thank you once again for being a part of AI Unbundled.
Thanks,
Exciting,
man. Really
exciting what you're doing.
Cheers, bro. Take care.
Okay, so for our first one up, that was a pretty good one, Mark, with Polyhedra.
Yeah, they're building some cool stuff.
Yeah, zero knowledge proofs are at the center of Web3 AI. But who we have coming up next is Flock.io, and they're a decentralized AI-focused company, which is focusing on scalable data solutions for Web3 applications. So, Mark, take it away.
Hey, Matt, how's it going?
Hey, yeah, I'm doing well, thanks. How you doing?
Good, man. Good. Excited to catch up for this chat. I mean, you guys are just prolific builders, right? There's so much that Flock have kind of put together over the last couple of years. It's pretty insane. I'm excited to kind of dig into it. Do you want to maybe give us a little bit of an explanation of what Flock is and what you guys have built?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so we're a decentralized AI training platform at our core. So what we do is we facilitate the training of AI models using our native token, Flock. The team has been around, or the company has been around since 2022, was building in stealth for a few years, and then just went to mainnet on Base December 31st of last year, as well as launched our token, Flock, on Base as well. So we have, just to go through our product suite, we have our AI Arena, which is our core product currently, which is like a decentralized Kaggle for those who are familiar with Kaggle. So what we do is we create a base model, and then we post that to our platform. We have a network of machine learning engineers. We actually have some of the top machine learning engineers in the world. For those who are familiar with Kaggle, we've got I think it's 20 of the top 100 Kagglers are competing on our platform. What they do is they will take our native token Flock, they will stake it against that task, and then they compete against one another in order to have the highest quality model. That quality is determined by our validators, who are also staking on the task and validating the quality of the model as determined by the loss score submitted by the trainers. So that's our AI Arena. We also have within the next month or two, we'll be launching it's called our Moonbase, which is a way in which users will be able to be incentivized and rewarded for actually utilizing the models that are trained on Flock. And then toward the end of this year, we'll be launching really our core product, which is called FL Alliance. Flock actually stands for Federated Learning on the Blockchain. So federated learning is really sort of at the core. It's what our founders specialized in. And so that's at the core of what we do. That's really what I would consider our moat. And that will be a federated learning solution wherein users can deploy nodes locally. They can train global models on local data, and that data stays private and secure.
That's awesome. What was that last product called?
FL Alliance.
FL Alliance. I love it. Yeah, I'm a big fan of the kind of the federated learning sector of kind of the AI sphere, right?
Mhm.
And I think the fact that you guys come from that background and you built kind of Flock on the grounding sort of principles of federated learning in many respects is super cool. I think for those that don't understand, do you have a good high level description of what federated learning is for people?
Yeah, sure thing. So I like to, for people who are familiar with federated learning, the example that I like to use is one that most of us interact with every single day, which is predictive text. So you're on your phone, you're on your mobile device, and you're literally typing out a text, and it's your device is giving you suggestions for what to write next. That's an example of federated learning. So how that works sort of on the back end is, there's a global server. It might be Apple, it might be a Google server, but I'll come back to this because we decentralize this aspect of it. But how it works in more of a centralized context is there's a global server that is deploying this model onto your phone. So the model is running locally on your phone. So the global the global server is not actually reading the text. The local model is actually, that's the one that's giving the predictive text. And then that model is being trained locally. And at a certain period of time, let's say it's every day or every week, then those weights that are trained on the local model are then sent to the global model. So again, the local model and all of the data that's that the model is running on is never shared with the global model, but the global model is then updated and then redeployed to the local devices. So what we're doing is we're doing a version of that, but more in a Web3 context, wherein users will be able to run federated learning node or FL nodes on their local devices for various use cases.
Yeah, I love it. And I'll provide kind of maybe the counter to that, right? So this is how kind of most models are trained today. Most models today, like what you'd be familiar with kind of OpenAI and ChatGPT and Claude, right? They're trained on really big clusters of GPUs, right? Big data centers, thousands of these GPUs co-located adjacent to each other. That's very much the type of infrastructure that Aethir is deploying through our cloud and that our customers come to us for, right? But I'm sure many people have heard about GPU scarcity, right? The difficulty in accessing these resources. I think people that have dug a little bit deeper have heard about the bottlenecks that we're predicting at kind of a macro level from a power perspective. Do we have enough power globally to build new data centers, to put these GPUs in and connect them to the power grid? Like, do we have enough power to even power those GPUs, right? If you follow the curve of the requirements for AI over the next kind of 5 years, they're pretty big numbers. And many estimates are saying we don't even have enough power, right? So one of the really interesting kind of solutions there is utilizing compute that exists already in the grid, right? That's not currently being utilized for kind of training purposes. And that, I guess, field is federated learning. The ability to kind of conduct training workloads on a bunch of decentralized or distributed devices. And, you know, I think as everyone that's kind of listening to this can agree, there's nothing more suited to building distributed or decentralized networks than the blockchain, right? So it just makes so much sense what Flock is doing, and I think that, you know, when I think about compute and compute infrastructure in the future, I definitely kind of view it through a lens where federated learning is a serious contender and piece of the compute kind of, you know, the teraflop requirement being delivered to kind of these models that are out there. It's really cool.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, it's also sort of like training on these edge devices as you're describing becomes, you know, we may not necessarily see, you know, large base foundation models trained via federated learning. However, it becomes extremely useful for niche use cases wherein, you know, the model can run locally on the edge, and we can really fine tune and address specific use cases. So that's like where we get most excited, and the blockchain is imperative for that in order to ensure that, you know, the models, both the weights that are being uploaded to the global model, as well as the quality of the data that's being used to train those weights, that we can do this in a trustless fashion, and also a privacy preserving fashion, which that's what, like, as you stated, what the blockchain is very well suited for.
100%. I mean, you know, what do they say? The riches are in the niches, right? I think the specialty models are going to be kind of where we see the real growth kind of over the next 5 years, right? I think generalized models have a little bit of kind of almost an accuracy cap, right? They're only going to get so good at specific tasks, right? There's effectively a value of data limitation, right? If you're trying to train a surgical robot, for example, you need a lot of surgery related data, right? A healthcare robot needs a lot of healthcare data, and a lot of this data is very private,
Yes,
right? People
exactly.
don't really like sharing it. And it sounds
Well, they
like
can't.
yeah, exactly. It sounds like what you're saying is you're building this infrastructure that allows people not only to connect their compute, right? Maybe their phone or their PC or whatever, but on top of that, here's this privacy preserving mechanism where your data is you can contribute your data or
And get rewarded for it.
you can get rewarded for it. I
Yep.
think that's a critical next step.
Yep. Yeah, agreed.
Very cool. Well, mate, tell me a little bit about how a project can get involved with you guys or use what Flock's built.
Yeah, certainly. So if you have any background in machine learning engineering, I would highly recommend getting onboarded to our platform at train.flock.io. You can join as a training node. If you have experience running nodes, like for example, other validators, you can also onboard as a validator at train.flock.io. Or for someone that's not super technical like myself, you can also onboard as a delegator at train.flock.io. And it'll walk you right through it there. So that's more on the individual side of things. If you are a project looking for a model to be trained, we do custom model training. And I would also say that when we also can partner with you on creating a task to post to our platform. So feel free to reach out to hello@flock.io, or you can also hit me up on Telegram. I'm at Emberco.
Love it. That's awesome. All right. Well, mate, it's been a pleasure. I've done, a couple of panels in the past with your co-founders. I think that what you guys are building is fantastic. Big believer in federated learning, and honestly, a lot of kudos to you and the team for all of the incredible tools that you've built. It's very, very kind of cutting edge, and it's great to see real products in action that that smart people can go and use.
Great. Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah. Thanks for your time here.
No worries. Pleasure to have you in AI Unbundled. Thanks for
Sounds good.
joining
Yeah.
us.
Thank you.
Hello again, Mark. Okay, Flock's data infrastructure sounds incredible, but Mark, for now, we're moving on to DeAgent AI, a decentralized AI agent company working to automate and enhance Web3. So, Mark, over to you.
Hey, Mark.
Hey, Julie, how are you?
How are you? Good. How are you too?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you for making the time. So we've had two chats with pretty deeply technical AI projects, but kind of what I felt was that we didn't get to talk about agents yet,
Mm-hmm.
right? We talked a lot about kind of training and data, but I think agents are kind of one of the most interesting pieces of the AI ecosystem. Very excited to kind of chat agents with
Mm-hmm.
you. Would you mind giving us a little bit of an introduction to DeAgent AI?
Sure. What is DeAgent AI? We are the largest AI agent infrastructure based on SUI, BTC, and BSC equal, and we could deploy all kinds of AI models in different environments, scenarios, and which could realize self-decision and implementation. And also we have our own open source framework, and in the near futures, we could have developers to deploy their own AI agent. I mean, based on our infra. And right now we develop our technical framework. And as for our first AI agent, which name is AlphaX, and it could predict the price for BTC and ETH in future to 72 hours. And the accuracy rate of it is pretty much high. It's about 70%, which is much more higher than the traditional trader, because it is for traditional trader, the accuracy rate for it is about 56%, I think. And by interact on AlphaX, users could choose believe or not to help us to give feedbacks to our models, so as to help our team to training it in a better way. And up to now, it have been trained for over 2 years, and users by vote on that, and their behaviors will be on chain. and a little bit gas fees will be consumed, but they will also get more feedback by interacting on AlphaX. So this kind of behavior could help us to training our models. And it is a short intro about AlphaX. And for the futures, we are developing more products. I mean, like the AlphaX 2.0, it is the upgrading for AlphaX, and more products which is related to trading and something just like that. Just looking forward to it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to that too. So AlphaX, an agent that is able to help me predict the price of Bitcoin. Did you say predict it within a 2-hour window? Did I hear that right?
Yeah, 2-hour window.
That's very cool. Yeah, certainly it would be a more accurate predictor than me. That's for sure. That's really cool. And you're going to be, and you mentioned you also have this open source framework. Is this, similar in kind of intention to like an ELIZA OS, for example?
Yeah, which is much more similar, but we are doing a like some more complicated models, just more than that, because some of the models like ELIZA, they are used like large language models, but we are doing more than that. So through our technical framework, and you could see a minimum entropy consensus, which could choose the stable or widely agreed upon output when agents face multiple choices. So it could help reduce randomness and make the system more predictable and consistent. I think this is one of our strengths for that. And some in a decentralized setting, that's huge because it replaces arbitrary decisions with something users can rely on. So yeah, that's what I can share with you.
That's very cool. Yeah, that reliability, particularly when you're deploying agents on chain, when they have access to wallets and funds, becomes increasingly important. So it's great to see you guys taking a focus on optimizing for that.
Yes, we are doing that.
So tell me a little bit about, let's say we've got obviously the AI Unbundled. We want to get projects in and using the awesome infrastructure and products provided by our members. What can a startup expect if they want to work with DeAgent AI?
Okay, thank you. That's a fascinating starting point, and I think it's also very aligned with what the AI Unbundled group is all about. And DeAgent AI was building on this exact vision in mind. We are enable builders to deploy modular, verifiable, and autonomous AI agents across different use cases without inventing the wheels every time. And we see ourselves not just about a product company, but as a foundational infrastructure for the AI agent economy. So if you're building in the AI unbundled space, whether you are working on agent tooling, data pipelines, large language models, or some consumer-facing dApps, one of the hardest things to getting trustworthy autonomy is not just about smart models. It's about how you coordinate them on chain and how you give them memory and how you ensure they act consistently over time. So that's where our system helps, just like the product, like our AI agent I already mentioned, the AlphaX. It is a best example, and it is a product in the trading domain, and it evolved from being a simple market predictor into a customizable and autonomous agent. Just like the AlphaX 2.0. But for more importantly, to show that with the right tooling, you can give non-technical users access to decision-making AI that's composable and explainable. So DeAgent AI give AI Unbundled builders the agent layer they can trust, customize, and launch without being locked into one size fits all models. We want to be that agent operating system that empower this new generation of decentralized AI native application. So yeah, that's the direction we are heading with DeAgent AI.
I love it. Such a big vision. It's very, very interesting to hear kind of the origin there. You know how there was, kind of the financial model that kind of is now building into the backbone of a lot of the kind of financial agentic infrastructure, and this prediction agent and things like that. I think that's pretty interesting story. I mean, when you have maybe these startups coming to you and they're interested in kind of using your tech, I mean, what sort of industries do you think are most relevant to what you're building now? Would you say it's more kind of on the DeFi space?
Okay, sure. Like I'll take the finance as an example, since that's where we are already seeing in real traction. And like our LVX starting as a trading agent, and it could help users to predict the price like for these two coins. And but now we're going the way beyond that with LVX 2.0, which is about to launch soon. And what's special about that? It's not giving trading signal anymore. It actually helps users building and deploy fully autonomous strategies, and using AI logic that can recognize market structure. And for example, it knows to not only after pullback following a higher high. That means it doesn't just react, it thinks before it acts. And let's say if you are a DeFi protocol, you could use this to automate your treasury or vault strategy. And if you are individual users, you could run your own AI-driven trading agent with just a few clicks. And that's a big shift from traditional DeFi tools, which often require manual inputs or technical knowledge. And yeah, we are also seeing some early experiments with the agents being integrated with structured products like yield strategy that adjusts automatically to like regimes or liquidation boots that make smarter decisions in lending markets. And because that's all transparent and verifiable on chain, and it's building trust. So DeAgent AI's tech is transforming Web3 finance by making intelligent automation accessible and more reliable, and not just institution, but for anyone. So yeah, that's where we are heading with this. Thank you.
I think your cat really likes your explanation as well. But it's been a pleasure, Julie. Thank you so much for sharing what you're building at DeAgent AI. It's some pretty incredible stuff. I love the open source format of what you're building, and I hope that, and I'm sure that many projects are going to come and start working with you and building on all of the really interesting tools that you've developed so far. Good luck with Alpha X version 2. I'm excited to play around with it when it comes out. But thank you, Julie, for joining us in the AI Unbundled.
Thank you, Mark.
Nice, and that would make our third one for the day. I think we're keeping time quite well today, Mark.
Doing my best.
Indeed, we're doing quite great. So up next, we have iExec, the trust layer for AI and DePIN, securing the pipeline from data to monetization. So Mark, you're up.
Hey, Mark.
Hey, Nathan.
Yeah, nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
Good. Pretty good. Can't complain. Especially after hearing smart people and good builders that are really providing value to the ecosystem.
Yeah, I think it's pretty exciting. The AI Unbundled is just packed to the brim with incredible projects, and I'm excited to talk about yours. It's funny when I heard the iExec name for the first time a while ago, the thing that first came into my mind was this anecdote that I'd read earlier in the year, and it was around agents, right?
Mhm.
And it was about how we may look at hiring people in the future, in particular, maybe executives, right?
Yeah.
And it was, if you look at hiring executives today, one of the things that you look for is like, who are the team they bring with them, right? Who is their network? Who are their core team that you might pull with that exec into your team, right? Their connections in their team are almost as valuable as the exec themselves. But this kind of AI commentator was suggesting that in the future, it won't be the team that comes with the exec, it'll be the agents, right? Which agents has this executive kind of trained and been using it and kind of like brought into their orbit in the way that makes them more effective as an executive or as a person in the business landscape. And I just remembered that quote when I was kind of thinking about iExec before. It's crazy how much the world is going to change.
Yeah, it was one of the good use case basically of the global iExec infrastructure, and it was done by one of our builder, which is one of the first that were using iExec properly into privacy, but also not just using privacy, but using valuable data and putting the global network around that. So and especially when we're talking about data, every good use case that use valuable data and start to protect and share with good people, it's absolutely super powerful. Yeah.
It is. It really is. Well, tell me, give the audience a little bit of an introduction to iExec. Help us understand what you guys are building.
Yeah, so we are a confidential computing infrastructure. So we launched it back in 2017, so pretty OGs in the space. And so even long before even Deepin had a name and before AI went exponential, we were just building at the really beginning of Web3 basically as well. So we raised an ICO at the time, and after building all the tech since 2017, creating our ecosystem of builders, pushing our dev tools and pushing our use cases and make it happen today, thanks to joining the AI Unbundled startup at the end. So basically our focus is on ownership, privacy, and monetization, as I mentioned before. And we provide the trust layer, so for both Deepin and AI, because they share a fundamental issue, which is the trust. The trust in the data, the trust in the model, and also the trust in the execution. So this is also where iExec comes in. We bring the trusted off-chain computing and the confidential data processing to Web3 application using TEAS, so Trusted Execution Environment. So we've already powering this space since a long time, as I mentioned before, and we are pushing a lot of TEAS task transaction per year, around 2 million, something like that. And I mentioned before, we have already our own ecosystem of builders into many vertical, because when we were talking about data, it could be vertical agnostic. We're not just talking about AI project, of course. And so, for example, last year we had around 60 active builders that were using our tech, and roughly 500,000 data sets secured by our builders, but also end user in different verticals. So yeah, basically iExec helps individuals and builders to protect, share, and monetize their digital assets.
I love it. I think there's going to be a huge amount of growth, in particular around the TEE ecosystem, as more and more projects understand the importance, but also get familiar with the technology itself. I guess how do you see projects in maybe the Unbundled Alliance, AI Unbundled Alliance, kind of accessing that TE infrastructure? How does that work with you guys?
It's really funny because when we were talking about teas 1 year ago, 2 years ago to builders, we absolutely at every call or every discussion need to explain what is teas and why data, black box, and privacy matters for individual and builders. But now, thanks to what the market have done in terms of global education, I think people know what is TEAS, and people know back the importance of owning their assets and data. So we went from very far to something that is mostly okay for now. So we are, so as mentioned before, in this space since long time. So of course, with a huge focus on accelerating projects that wants to give back to their user the control of their assets and data. So we have different ways for that, and thanks to the joining the alliance, we will connect keys to real AI needs, of course. So, for example, for startups in the alliance, that means enabling trust at every stage of their pipeline, from data to model training, inference, but also ultimately monetization, what I mentioned before. So you can give back the control of what you encrypt, who has access to this data, at what price, for how many time, and how is running the model inside, with very specification of iExec into the governance infrastructure, and who are the stakeholders, powers of the system. So the framework that we giving to the builders make this possible by securing every step of the AI lifecycle into T's. So that's critical for sensitive workloads, of course, but also private datasets, fine-tuned LLMs or AI agents making real-world decision into application. And on top of that, so of course, they were enabling monetization for projects. We help also startups with our own ecosystem fund, with dilutive and non-dilutive investments. We announced a few months ago first 1 million in custom fund, but we'll announce I think many others in the long term.
Congrats.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Thank you. But yeah, we've been here since a long time ago. So now our really focus is to help builders growth and give back to their audience and user the spirits of owning what you have, and especially not giving these revenues to another people that could generate revenues based on what you are and who you are.
That's it. I think maybe just quickly before we go, because this has been fantastic. I love this monetization focus, right? Because I feel that we can often get quite idealistic in crypto, and not kind of tie it back to what motivates less mission focused people, right? And I think that monetization angle that you're tying into this, the ecosystem you're building at iExec is kind of fascinating, and really important. Do you want to maybe explain how maybe the average AI project, or what's a good example of how monetization could be accessed by a project that wants to kind of build in your ecosystem?
Yeah, sure. One of the important thing you mentioned, monetization, is something that really is a high focus of iExec since very long time, because when you're securing data, you don't need basically Web3 at 100%. You can use different solution. But when we are talking about how do I get back the control of my assets and grant the access of this asset, and I'm starting to generate revenues on that, Web3 is very important in terms of decentralization and global stakeholders participation into the network. So one of the good example could be linked to, for example, a DeFi application. One of the use case that I love with iExec, it's we are all using different AI agents that could manage that could be copilots for documents, that could be agent for managing DeFi strategy or investments. And for example, as a user, you can encrypt, start to protect your trading behavior, for example. So based on what you've traded before, what you want to trade, what are your risk profile and everything, and start to create your protected data. And with these data sets, you could access to, for example, the model of a DeFi project that will send you confidential alerts based on what you like to trade and what you want to access in the market. For example, every trade and every decision could be executed securely into a TE model. And then based on the performance that as a trader have, which is fully encrypted and fully privacy, I can start generate my data sets and my training of the model which is in a TE to different traders in the market that wants to replicate my trades, but I don't want to disclose what I like, who I am, and where I'm generate revenues in the market. So this is one of the very easy example to find out, but one of the powerful as well in the market.
100%. That sounds incredibly exciting. A lot of really valuable data to be shared and monetized there. Well,
and everyone has
Nathan, thank
data,
you.
basically.
Yeah, everyone needs it. Yeah. But Nathan, thank you so much for joining us this evening. Thank you for being a part of AI Unbundled. I'm very excited for everything that iExec is able to offer the unbundled ecosystem as kind of OGs in the space, building since 2017, and kind of being so proficient with such kind of core innovative tech. It's really good to have you guys as a part of the alliance. Thank you so much, Nathan.
Thank you, Mark.
See you.
And that was iExec. Pretty impactful AI workflows that they've got building over there.
For sure, 100%.
Most, yeah. But we want to keep up the momentum with coming up next, OORT, with Mike coming to the stage now.
Hey, Mike.
Hey,
good to see you, man.
Always good to see you too,
mate. Before we jump in to OORT, the company, tell me a little bit about like where the name comes from, because I thought it was an acronym or a made up word, and I think I've like found out recently that that's not the case.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. So Dr. Lee, the founder of the company, is really fascinated by outer space. Naturally, we're pushing the boundary or boundaries for technology, and that's essentially what's taking place. OORT is this layer in the galaxy that we can't pass because of all the debris. It's called an OORT cloud, and these debris are like as large as like mountains, right? Mm-hmm. And mankind will never pass it. So yes.
Yeah, it's fascinating because I was doing some homework and kind of getting up to speed on the latest at OORT earlier this week, and I searched OORT cloud, and I was like, boom, I went down the Wikipedia, YouTube rabbit hole. What is an OORT cloud? You know, this giant ring of debris, theoretical ring of debris that surrounds the solar system. It was just super cool. Aethir actually comes from a similar kind of astronomical concept. It was the idea of ancient Greeks. They would look to the stars, and they didn't have this concept for the void of space, right? They assumed that space had to be filled with something, right? Otherwise, the stars would fall out of the sky, the sun would fall, right? They're like, there has to be a substance holding everything together. And they called that substance Aethir, right? It was this connective tissue holding the universe together. So I just loved your name. I thought there was a lot of synergy between what you guys were thinking and what we were.
Likewise. I love this.
Mate, tell us a little bit about what OORT, the GPU cloud, is.
Well, there's a lot going on at OORT. Really incredible things. First off, we're a breakthrough research project from Columbia University, led by Dr. Max Lee. He's also a professor at Columbia. So we're a decentralized AI infrastructure project. We have our decentralized cloud. We partnered with Dell as the first Web3 project in their ecosystem. We also have a factually accurate AI agent. We partnered with Lenovo to help offset their call center costs. And they are actually paying for our services. What's really incredible is our now flagship product, which is Data Hub. And you think of this as crowdsourcing data generation, whether that be data labeling and also data collection. So there's an ecosystem that we've built at OORT, and it's really thriving. Data Hub is set to go omni-chain with a huge partnership announcement coming in the next few days.
That's awesome. Well, don't let me convince you to give us this cool alpha early. I promise I won't try. But mate, so that's really fascinating, because I think, you know, we're quite familiar as a community now with AI, right? We understand at a high level that there's kind of three things that AI needs, right? The model itself, which, you know, comes from these big tech companies predominantly, right? The ChatGPT models, the Claude models from Anthropic, Meta and their Llama models, right? DeepSeek. That's kind of one piece of this kind of ecosystem, right? The other piece is compute, right? GPUs Aethir is a great provider of GPUs. You guys obviously are a decentralized compute provider as well, but it looks like you're building out the data stack too, right? That third piece, which is just as critical, right? All the bottlenecks that that we were talking about before, you know, that they're predicting from a power and a GPU perspective, there's similar bottlenecks from a data perspective. So I love that you're looking kind of more broadly at the AI industry as a whole, and kind of taking some really making some really strategic moves on getting involved.
Yeah. What we find very important is bringing human beings back in the loop, and naturally our technology allows that as well.
Right. So tell me a little bit about how you would like to see a new project or a startup come and interact with what you guys have built at OORT.
So what we're seeing right now is, first off, Dr. Lee has always been like really prescient with AI. When I was pushing for Bitcoin and Web3, he was always pushing for AI. Finally, the two have converged. What we're seeing is AI, as Balaji said, was being built from the top down, institution-wise, and Web3 built from the bottom up. So this is the perfect timing. What we're looking at now is decentralized AI, and actually leading the space with AI Unbundled and Aethir and all these alliance members. We can bring, because there's a scarcity right now for data, we can actually have community galvanized, right, to actually do tasks to generate this data, and then we can store it on our in our cloud. So that is really the preferred way for us to help these startups. We're trying to help startups with their decentralized AI narrative. If you have one, we can help galvanize your community members to participate in data generation. And then we can also store, if you need, a cloud as well. We're just trying to make things as efficient as possible, simplified as possible, and once again, trying to get the community back in the loop for AI. My concern is AI should be more so of a public good, but we're seeing it being, the usual centralization.
A shareholder good.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. No, totally agree. And yes, the being able to incentivize. I mean, being able to incentivize community and individuals to contribute to data sets and be rewarded for doing so, right? You look at OpenAI right now, they're paying something in the realm of $60 million a year to access Reddit, right? I think Shutterstock sold their image rights for a $200+ million licensing deal, right? For one of the big AI models. Like, this data accessibility is just going to get more and more expensive, right? As all of the players in the Web2 world realize the value of the data that they own, if they haven't realized that already. And it's going to mean that if you're trying to build something cool, if you're a young company building in the AI space, right, there's going to be a lot of walls between you and the resources that you need. And I love that you're providing them not only kind of the compute side, but you're also like, okay, here's data, here's a bunch of other tools as well. That's super cool. Mate, anything you want to, I guess, share about the Data Hub? Just to prepare people for the launch, anything that they should be checking or anything?
That's right on point. So there's a lot taking place internally. It's keeping us extremely busy. Now, Data Hub is set to go live in the coming weeks. Please keep our socials, OORT, our X handle available. Watch out for any live updates, because this has been taking place in stealth. And when it's time to rip, it's going to happen basically in stealth as well. You should be seeing a lot of announcements coming up in the next few days. Now, with regards to Data Hub, what we have is the first of its kind. Think scale AI, the traditional, but now on chain. And the opportunity here is finally we can get people around the world involved in being data collectors, data labelers, and they're paid in real time with our native tokens, and then also our partner tokens as we continue to expand omni-chain. So what our goal is to actually achieve 1 million data contributors, so we can put the phone, your DPIT. Think of all the data that you're generating on your phone, and you're just handing it over to whichever social app you're using. Finally, you can use our app and get paid to actually, you're incentivized to do so, to collect data, label data, and you can do so across the world. There are no barriers, and that's what we're unlocking. So we're really excited about it. Follow us on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter as well. I'm OORT Cheer, OORTCHAIR. You'll be hearing updates from me. Also, OORTech, OORTECH. That's our official Twitter as well.
Love it. Mike, I'm pumped about this release. I'm going to be paying attention. Really cool to hear all of this about what you're building. Mike, thank you. And thanks, OORT, for joining the AI Unbundled Alliance. Pleasure to have you with us.
Likewise. Looking forward to collaborating with everyone. Take care.
100%. Thanks, Mike.
Ciao.
Hello. Okay, it seems we're coming up towards our time, and we have one more left with Alpha Neural coming to the stage with Ash. So I'm going to pop out.
Hi, Mark.
Hey, Ash, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. Lucky last.
Yes. It's been great.
It's been pretty cool. I think the quality project we have together, with us is it's pretty mind blowing, right? You forget how much is being built in the crypto space. We hear about Thoughtcoin, we hear about this sort of like stuff, and we don't get to dig into like the cool stuff that's being built enough. And that's what I'm loving about these chats, and what I'm sure I'm going to love about my chat with you.
Yes, no, definitely. It's really refreshing to see, and hear about all those projects. It also gives you hope, that the industry is going towards the right direction. And it's not only about fart coin and meme coins, but actually there are real builders with real use cases, and things are going to be good.
Yeah, man. Well, speaking of real use cases and solid projects, give us an introduction to Alpha Neural.
Yes, sure. So Alpha Neural is, again, an infrastructure layer for AI assets. I've heard, a few similar pitches or explanations today, but we're different in a sense that our core value proposition is within a marketplace. So we have a marketplace where users can come, bring in their AI models, and deploy them on chain, as well as monetize them. So that's one aspect of our core value proposition. The second one is essentially the GPU compute, and that's where our partnership together with Aethir comes into place, where we connect to GPU networks, the biggest in the world, including Aethir, to provide the compute for training and inference for all those models that we have on the platform. And currently we have 1.4 million models, and that number is growing rapidly. And all those models need compute to run, both for inference and fine-tuning and training. And that's why we need all those GPU networks to provide to the platform. And then last is essentially our launch protocol, which is anybody that has an AI model and is deployed on the platform, and they want to raise some capital, and they're getting a lot of attention and traction, and people are using it. They could deploy a token that lives on top of our token, and then this way, multiple people can buy into that model and also gain some revenue share of that model, basically. So, think about companies and projects like Virtuous Protocol, who did a fantastic job monetizing and tokenizing AI agents. We're doing a similar thing for AI models, and providing the whole infrastructure for compute and access. People can go and subscribe to those models, use them directly on our platform, but also we have the backend API systems that they can connect to, and then they can plug them into their websites, their applications, and any of their backend systems.
That's pretty cool, right? And some of those numbers were wild. 1.4 million models and kind of and growing. What are you? Are you seeing? I guess trends. Some of these models. Are you seeing some Web3 related models being fine-tuned and released? Are you? I guess, just really interested in this number. 1.4 mil. It's fascinating.
Yeah, look, whenever there's a new open source model that comes out, for example, DeepSeek, when it came out, I think within a few weeks, there were about 15,000 iterations of that model. So that people took the base model and then fine-tuned it based on their own data, and then released it into the system, and then people can basically connect and start using that. So it's a vibrant community. There's a lot of AI engineers, data scientists that like to play around and deploy models, and for a wide variety of use cases. Of course, there are the Web3 use cases, such as training data, following different types of wallets and transactions, analysis for big blockchains. Whenever there's a new coin that comes out, you analyze it, how many buys and sells are happening. So different types of models.
That's awesome. Sorry to maybe ask another question. It's kind of like the question I just asked.
Yeah.
But when a new model is released, what sort of fine tunes do you see are kind of consistently released first? What do people like to play with first when a kind of a new model comes out?
Yeah, the moment it depends, right? Whatever the current hype is, in a sense. So at the moment, what we see is this hype about coding agents. So a lot of people, want to have the latest model that can help me code, essentially, right? Of course, there are a lot of great tools and agents out there that you have to pay for to use, but we see that the community is very active in deploying and training models to help you basically code. And these models are fantastic, and they're getting better day by day.
I mean, I just saw Jack, founder of Twitter, now X, just recently released it. He codes with an open source model. I think it was called Geese or Goose or something like that.
Yeah.
And he says it's better. He gets better performance from it than through Cursor and the latest model of Claude. Right, the performance of these open source models that I'm sure are sitting right there in Alpha Neural. Some of them are kind of the most performant models in the space.
Yeah, and it's funny you mentioned this, Mark, because some of the mainstream agents, for example, coding, they get a lot of attention in users because they're out there. They're nice websites, nicely designed, and you just go there and you start using it, and you pay $50 a month or whatever. And then the open source models, you have to do a lot of manual work to actually deploy them and to make sure that they work and you know how to do it. And here is where Alpha Neural comes and fills the gap, because we take all those complicated steps into deploying models, providing the GPU power, providing the API endpoints. We have all the standard OpenAI API endpoints and such. And we make it easy for anybody, right? Whether it's Jack Morsey or you and I, to go and look at the latest open source model that came out, and someone trained it on really cool data. And with a couple of clicks, you can start using it. If it's deployed already, there's a GPU, you can go there and start using it. If not, you can deploy a GPU yourself and spin off the model, and then boom, there you go. So we're taking away all this kind of manual, very annoying work, and then allowing anybody to start deploying and using those models.
I love it. You're right. There's so much value in the open source community, but it's often really hard to execute and access that value. And I love this kind of streamlined approach that you're taking to giving people more control and more easy access and functionality within the massive open source kind of AI community. Well, we're about to bring everyone back on stage, but before we do, Ash, is there anything you want to share or tell the community, any action you'd like them to take?
Yeah, I mean, come check us out. We're in beta at the moment. We have a lot going on. We're deploying a lot of new cool tools. We just deployed VS Code Jupyter Notebook to train and fine-tune AI models. We're actually releasing a really cool feature called AI to find AI. So we have a really cool model that we've been working on for quite some time now, which is essentially an AI model where you can go chat with it and say, hey, I have a bunch of tasks I can do, and I don't know which model fits best for me. So give me the best AI model that I can deploy easily and then start using. So that's going to go out very soon. Make sure to follow us on the socials, on X, on Telegram and Discord, and you'll be informed.
Love it. Sounds super exciting. I'm definitely going to check it out, Ash. But thank you. It's fantastic to have Alpha Neural part of AI Unbundled. Really, really excited to have more projects learn about what you're building and get involved and start using all of your incredible tools. Thanks very much.
Thank you so much, Mark. Appreciate it.
The whole crew and everyone's still here because I didn't talk for 30 minutes too long. A little bit over time, but not too bad. All right, we're missing Jay, the man himself.
Righty, I am back. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining today. I think it's been a great one. All the projects have had quite a lot to share. Mark, any big insights that you wanted to share with everyone? Also, still have everyone on?
Mate, I think the big one for me is just this reminder of how much is being built in the space. It's pretty incredible, right? We've got projects here that have been around since 2017, right? We've got projects with deep technical backgrounds, deep academic backgrounds. I mean, there's so much here that builders can access and use, right? you don't need to reinvent the wheel just because you're building in the AI space, right? You're far better off coming and looking at what the ecosystem has to offer, and coming to places like AI Unbundled and saying, hey, can you guys give me a little bit of a hand, right? A little bit of instruction on how to take and succeed with my project. And I'm just amazed at what we've got sitting, in the tool belts of all these incredible companies.
I absolutely agree. And as we close off, we'll leave it to this table. We'll leave it to the table. Anyone else have anything else they want to say as we close off? Since this AI Unbundled is all about everyone here.
Happy for people to give a shill as well. I want the community to know what's happening with what you guys are building.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah,
I can go.
Go ahead, Ash.
Yeah, I would encourage even more AI engineers and data scientists to come and check out our platform, upload your models, monetize your models. Yeah, come push the space and the industry forward, and we're here to support you.
Love it. Well said, Matt.
Yeah, so if I haven't leave anyone with anything, go to train.flock.io. You can participate in decentralized AI training and get rewarded for it, whether you are a super technical machine learning engineer or a non-technical person completely new to AI. Anyone can participate and get rewarded. Again, that's train.flock.io.
Love it. How about you, Julie? DeAgent AI.
Yeah, we're building a whole new coordination layer for Web3, and where agents don't just serve humans, they all work with each other and represent community and help us govern system in a more smarter and more adaptive way. So that's what AI Unbundled makes possible, and we are proud of to being building the future and alongside all the amazing teams in this group, and appreciate that. Thank you, Mark.
Love it, Julie. Thank you. Hey, Bart, how's your 6 a.m. brain going?
Yeah, getting there. Nice bit of silence listening to everyone else and saving the voice. So the day ahead of me. But yeah, quick little shill is obviously the Aethir and Polyhedra joint grants program that we've recently released. So to visit that, just jump onto the ecosystem page at Polyhedra, looking obviously as we covered at providing some grants across the development side on our front, cover those first few months so that you don't have to run out to a fund, get you set up. And on top of that, obviously get some Aethir grants to save on all those compute costs over the first year as you start to test and bring on those first users. So looking forward to reviewing the applications.
100%. Exciting. So much value here. Really look forward to seeing all the projects that are going to come and hit us up on everything we're saying we're ready to deliver. But I guess last little shill from me. If you guys want to stay in touch with what's happening at the AI Unbundled Alliance, make sure you follow all of the projects that are here with me on stage. Feel free to follow Aethir Cloud as well. You'll get a bunch of updates about these projects alongside what we're building at Aethir itself. But thank you everyone for being here. Very, very cool. Great way to spend a Friday evening, and excited to stay in touch and keep on building cool stuff with you guys.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.